In the wide and endless black of space, there are places ships avoid even if no official map calls them dangerous. The Meridian Reach is one such place. It is a cluster of star systems controlled by humans, and while there are no laws banning passage, every captain in the nearby sectors knows the unspoken rule. Do not enter unless you have permission. Stories about the Reach have traveled far. Merchant crews sitting in docking bays share them in low voices. Miners returning from asteroid fields tell their own versions. In these stories, any ship that enters without human approval faces one of two fates. Some never return at all. Others come back, but the crew is different. Quieter, sharper, sometimes unable to explain what happened inside. The details change with every telling, but the warning stays the same. Crossing into human territory without an invitation is a risk one should take. Kor had heard these tales since his first days as a pilot. He was young then, fresh from training, eager to prove himself. The older crew members spoke as if the humans were more dangerous than any pirate or warlord. They claimed humans could read minds, predict moves before they were made, and turn enemies into allies without firing a single shot. Kor never believed them. To him, humans were simply another species trying to survive in a crowded galaxy. On this day, Kor sat in the captain's chair of his own small freighter, the Silver Wing. The ship's interior was worn but reliable. Panels along the walls hummed quietly. The navigation display projected a calm blue light, showing their path along the edge of human space. The cargo hold was full, rare minerals from a distant moon, sealed in protective cases. The crew had made a good run so far, and if they reached the next trade hub, the profit would be enough to keep them running for months. Sarah, the ship's navigator, leaned over her console and frowned. "We are drifting close to the Meridian border," she said. "I suggest we turn a little north." Kor glanced at the display. "We are still outside their space. We have at least another 5 jumps before we are anywhere near trouble." Sarah did not look convinced. "It is not the jumps that worry me. It is the stories. You know what they say." Kor gave a short laugh. "I know what they say, but I do not plan to believe it just because every miner with a drink in his hand repeats it." From the engineering bay, a deep voice joined in. "You should listen, Captain," said Larn, the chief mechanic. "A cousin of mine went in there. His ship came back, but he was not the same. He stopped speaking to friends, left his trade route, and joined a human patrol fleet. Never gave a reason." Kor shook his head. "That sounds more like a personal choice than some kind of strange human magic." Larn did not answer, but the silence that followed was heavy. Even without believing in the stories, Kor could not deny that humans had a reputation for changing the balance of power wherever they went. In the last few decades, they had gone from being a small voice in the Galactic Council to holding key trade routes and diplomatic agreements. They were not the most advanced species, nor the largest, yet they had influence far beyond their numbers. The ship's path remained steady until the 4th jump of the day. Then the navigation system let out a sharp chime. Sarah's hands flew across the console. "We have a drift," she said quickly. "The beacon marker is down. We will have to reroute." Kor leaned forward. "What do you mean the beacon is down?" "It means the marker we use to guide our jump is not sending a signal," Sarah explained. "We can guess the position, but there is a risk we will come out too close to the Meridian border." Kor studied the chart. A detour would add 2 days to their travel. That meant more fuel used, more supplies consumed, and possibly missing. the trade window for their minerals. If we keep our heading, how close will we get? Close enough to make me nervous, Sarah replied. Kor sat back and thought. The stories were just that, stories. But supplies were not. 2 days' delay could cost them their profit. He decided. We hold the course, stay sharp, and we will be fine. The crew did not argue, but the mood on the bridge shifted. Sarah's eyes stayed fixed on her display. Larn's usual humming in the engineering bay stopped entirely. Even the steady hum of the engines seemed louder. Hours later, the border appeared on their long-range scan. It was nothing more than a faint line on the display, but it carried a weight no physical barrier could match. Kor told himself it was just another region of space. Still, he adjusted his seat and kept his eyes on the readout. The jump engines engaged. A brief flash of light filled the bridge, and when it faded, the stars ahead had shifted. Sarah checked the navigation chart and went still. We are inside their border, she said in a quiet voice. Kor blinked. What? How far? Not deep, Sarah said, but far enough that any human patrol will see us. Kor's first thought was to turn back immediately. His second was that doing so might draw even more attention. Before he could decide, the ship's sensors picked up a signal, short, sharp, and precise. A small object appeared on the scan, approaching fast. Larn's voice came over the comm. Something is coming our way, Captain. Small, but moving like it knows exactly where we are. Kor watched the display as the signal grew stronger. It is a patrol craft, Sarah said. Human design. The ship closed the distance with perfect control. Its engines flared once, then it matched their speed exactly. The comm channel opened on its own, and a calm female voice spoke. This is Lieutenant Mira of the Meridian Reach Defense. Your vessel is inside protected space. State your identity and purpose. Kor hesitated only a moment before answering. This is Captain Kor of the Silver Wing. We are merchants. We crossed the border by accident. There was a pause, then Mira replied, Understood. Please prepare for inspection. The channel closed. No threat was spoken, yet the request felt heavier than an order. Kor looked at his crew. No one said anything, but their faces made it clear they all understood. This was the moment the stories began. The Silver Wing slowed its engines as the human patrol craft closed in. The human vessel was small compared to most military ships Kor had seen before, yet it moved with a kind of precision that made it seem larger. Its dark hull reflected little, light from the nearby stars. Narrow bands of pale blue ran along its sides, glowing faintly like veins of energy. On the bridge, Kor kept his voice steady. All right, let us stay calm. We have nothing to hide. Sarah checked the scanners. Their weapons are charged, but not locked on us, she reported. They could fire in a second if they wanted to. Kor gave a short nod. Then let us make sure they have no reason to want to. The two ships drifted closer until the human craft stopped less than 100 meters away. Its engines stayed active, holding position with perfect balance. A soft tone sounded on the Silver Wing's comm panel. Sarah tapped the control, and the same calm female voice returned. This is Lieutenant Mira of the Meridian Reach Defense, the voice said. Again. We will now send a boarding team. Please power down your main engines and disengage your jump drive. Kor hesitated, then followed procedure. The Silver Wing's main lights dimmed slightly as the ship's core went into standby. "Engines and jump drive are down," Core replied. "Confirmed," Mira said. "Stand by for docking." Through the forward window, Core saw the patrol craft release a small boarding module. It moved slowly at first, then aligned with the freighters, sighed and latched on with a soft metallic thud. A series of quiet clicks followed as the airlock systems matched pressure and composition. Sarah spoke without looking away from her console. "Their systems link up faster than ours," she said in a low voice. "It is like they already knew exactly what settings we use." Larn's voice came from the engineering bay. "That is not possible, unless they scanned us the moment they saw us." Core did not answer. The boarding hatch indicator on the bridge turned green. A moment later, it slid open, and two humans stepped inside. The first was a woman in a dark uniform, tall and steady, with a badge that matched the voice they had heard. She was Lieutenant Mira. Her uniform had no extra decoration, only a simple rank patch and the symbol of the Meridian Reach, an arc of 3 stars over a blue line. The second human was a man with lighter armor, carrying a compact scanning device. Both carried sidearms, though they kept them holstered. Mira looked around the bridge with calm eyes. "Captain Core?" she asked. Core stood from his chair. "That is me. Welcome aboard the Silver Wing." Mira gave a small nod. "Thank you, Captain. We will begin our inspection now. This is standard procedure for any unregistered vessel found inside the Reach." Her voice was even, almost polite. Yet there was something in her tone that made Core's crew stay quiet. She did not sound threatening, but neither did she sound like someone who could be lied to. The human with the scanner moved first. He swept the device over each console and bulkhead. The scanner gave soft pulses of light, and the screen displayed readings Core could not read from where he stood. It was not a normal cargo scanner. The beam seemed to linger on each surface, almost as if it was searching for more than just hidden compartments. Mira watched each pass carefully before speaking again. "We detected a slight anomaly in your cargo manifest," she said. "One of your containers holds a mineral that reacts in unusual ways to certain signal frequencies. Do you know this?" Core exchanged a quick glance with Sarah. "The minerals are sealed," he said. "We have carried them before without trouble." Mira gave a small nod. "Yes, but inside the Reach, we monitor for items that can affect thought patterns. Some minerals can amplify certain neural waves. We prefer to know when they are in our space." Core's brow furrowed. "You are saying these minerals are dangerous to minds?" "Not directly," Mira replied. "But in the wrong place, at the wrong time, they can cause instability. Our policy is to identify them early." The human with the scanner moved to the cargo bay. Larn went with him, both out of duty and curiosity. Core stayed on the bridge with Mira. "You seem very sure." "About what is on our ship," Core said. "Did your scans pick all this up before you even boarded?" Mira's eyes met his. "We have methods for reading more than just metal and fuel signatures. The Reach has learned that technology alone is not enough to protect our borders. We pay attention to intentions as well." It was a strange answer. Core could not decide if she meant it as a figure of speech or something literal. He tried to read her expression, but her face was steady, giving nothing away. Minutes later, the scanner operator returned. "Confirmed," he said. "The mineral is secured. No active threat." Mira inclined her head. "Good. Then we will escort you to a station where we can record your entry and arrange safe passage out of the Reach. Kor raised a brow. You could simply send us back the way we came. Mira's tone stayed calm, but her words were firm. We could. But that would leave questions unanswered, and the Reach does not leave such things unanswered. She turned to leave, signaling her partner to follow. At the hatch, she paused and looked back at Kor. Prepare your ship for travel. The station is not far. When the humans had returned to their craft and the boarding module released, Sarah exhaled, slowly. They were not here long, but it felt like they already knew everything about us. Kor did not disagree. His mind replayed every moment, the way Mira had spoken, the strange scanner, the certainty with which they moved. It was as if they had been expecting the Silver Wing before it even crossed the border. The patrol craft took the lead, gliding, ahead with smooth precision. The Silver Wing followed at a safe distance. Around them, the stars of the Meridian Reach shone brighter, almost sharper, than those in the space they had left. Kor felt as if the very light here carried a different weight. No weapons had been fired, no threats had been shouted. Yet something about the encounter left him uneasy. The stories had always spoken of ships disappearing or crews changing in ways they could not explain. He had never believed them. Now he was starting to wonder if those stories were only half of the truth, and if the other half was something far more subtle. Ahead, a faint glow marked the location of the station Mira had mentioned. As the patrol craft guided them closer, Kor felt the weight of the unknown pressing in. Whatever happened next, he knew one thing for certain. This was no ordinary inspection, and leaving the Reach might not be as simple as turning the ship around. The Silver Wing drifted into position beside the Meridian Reach station under the careful watch of the human patrol craft. The station was unlike anything Kor had seen before. Its design was clean and precise, without the layers of patchwork repairs common to most outpost hubs. Large arcs of metal curved around a central core, giving the entire structure the look of a great ring turning slowly in the dark. Lights traced along the outer edges, steady and calm, with no flashing warnings or chaotic traffic patterns. Inside the bridge, Sarah stared at the view and said, "It looks peaceful." Larn's voice came through the comm from the engineering bay. Peaceful things can still be dangerous. Remember that. Kor guided the Silver Wing toward the docking. Signal sent by the station. The magnetic clamps locked onto the freighter with a firm pull, and a moment later, the ship's systems confirmed a stable connection. The voice of Lieutenant Mira returned on the comm. "Welcome to Station Harrow," she said. "Please remain aboard until our boarding team arrives. They will guide you through the inspection process." Kor agreed, though part of him wondered why a station visit was necessary at all. If this had been any other border patrol, they would have been turned, back with a warning and a fine. The Reach seemed determined to know more. The boarding hatch indicator lit again, and 3 humans entered. Mira was among them, wearing the same calm expression. The second was the same scanner operator from before. The third was new. A short, older man in a simple uniform with no weapon in sight. His eyes were sharp, scanning the bridge as if reading, more than just its layout. "Captain Kor," Mira began, "this is Analyst Bren. He will conduct the main part of the inspection." Bren gave a short nod. "This will be quick if we cooperate," he said in a quiet but steady voice. "We inspect for 2 things: illegal cargo, and potential influence hazards. Sarah frowned. Influence hazards? Bren glanced at her. Objects, signals, or even materials that can cause changes to thought or decision-making without consent. We take such matters seriously inside the Reach. Larn stepped onto the bridge, wiping his hands. Never heard of such a thing being a problem for trade ships. That is because most trade ships do not enter here without notice, Bren replied without pause. Kor motioned for them to begin. Very well. Let us start in the cargo bay. The group moved together through the ship's narrow corridors until they reached the hold. The cases of rare minerals sat in secure racks, each sealed and labeled. Bren stopped in front of one case in particular, the one Mira had mentioned earlier. He opened a small device on his wrist, and a faint pulse of light swept over the crate. This mineral, Bren said, is called veracene on some worlds. You call it blue quartz. When processed a certain way, it emits a low-frequency wave that can alter short-term decision-making. Even unprocessed, it reacts to certain starfield signals. In small amounts, it is harmless. In the wrong conditions, it is not. Kor kept his tone calm. We did not know this. We have never used it for anything but construction material. I believe you, Bren said simply. But belief is not proof. We will take a sample for record and seal the rest under transport lock. The scanner operator stepped forward and opened a panel on the crate, removing a small shard of the mineral and placing it into a sealed tube. His movements were precise, as if handling something fragile not because of weight, but because of what it could do. As they worked, Kor noticed that Mira was not watching the crate at all. Instead, she was studying the crew, the way Sarah shifted, her weight, the way Larn crossed his arms. She seemed to be looking for something in their reactions, though her face gave away nothing. When the sample was secured, Bren led them to the ship's main systems room. We will also scan your navigation core, he said. It records your path here. This is important for identifying potential risks along the border. Kor allowed it, though he knew most captains would object to someone reading their travel logs. The scanner device hummed softly as it read the system data. Bren's eyes flicked across the results. You passed through the Aryan Drift, Bren said. That sector has been quiet lately. No pirate activity reported for 3 months. Interesting. Interesting how? Kor asked. Bren shook his head. Simply an observation. When the systems check was complete, the humans returned to the bridge. Mira spoke again, her voice steady. The inspection is complete. We found no hostile cargo or harmful intent. However, because you entered without notice, you will need to attend a short review at the station before leaving. It is standard. Kor felt a flicker of relief, though he could not ignore the way she had phrased it. No harmful intent. Not no harm done, but no harmful intent. It suggested they judged more than just actions. As they prepared to leave for the station, Sarah whispered, To Kor, did you notice they never once looked unsure? It is like they already knew what they would find. Kor nodded slightly. Yes, and that means they were looking for something very specific. The humans guided the crew through the docking tunnel into Station Harrow. Inside, the air was clean and warm, with a faint scent like metal after rain. The walls were smooth, free of exposed wiring or patches. The station seemed designed not just for function, but for order. Every person they passed, human and alien alike, moved with quiet purpose. No one rushed, no one loitered. Bren handed Kor a small data pad. Your crew will wait in the review chamber. It will not take long. As they entered the chamber, Kor noticed it was circular, with seats arranged in a ring facing inward. The walls displayed shifting patterns of light, soft and slow like a calm sea. There were no visible guards, yet Kor felt certain that leaving without permission would be impossible. Mira stood near the door. "Please sit," she said. "The review will begin shortly." Kor took his seat, his crew beside him. For the first time, he felt the weight of the stories he had dismissed for so long. They were inside the Reach now, and the Reach was looking at them closely, not just at their cargo, not just at their ship, but at them. And Kor could not shake the thought that the real inspection was only just beginning. The review chamber was quiet except for the faint hum of air filters. Kor sat with Sarah and Larn, feeling the soft curve of the seat beneath him. Across the circular room, other visitors waited. Most were alien crews, their expressions a mix of caution and curiosity. A pair of tall, insect-like traders clicked their mandibles softly to each other. A group of scaled merchants kept their eyes low, as if avoiding attention. The wall lights shifted slowly from blue to pale green, and the door opposite Kor opened. Lieutenant Mira stepped in, followed by two humans in plain uniforms. They carried no weapons. Their presence alone seemed enough to keep the room still. Mira spoke clearly. "Welcome to Station Harrow's review process. This is not an interrogation. It is an exchange. We learn about you, and you learn about us. When you leave, you will understand the Reach better than when you arrived." One of the uniformed humans, a man with short hair and a calm gaze, stepped forward. "We will speak with each crew one at a time. The others will wait here. Captain Kor, your crew will begin." Kor rose, glancing at Sarah and Larn. They followed him through the open doorway into a smaller chamber. This room was plain, just a round table with 4 chairs. The walls were smooth and pale, with no screens, no visible devices. Yet Kor felt certain they were being observed closely. The short-haired man sat opposite them. Mira stood nearby, hands behind her back. "This is not a test," the man said, "but you may feel like it is one. We will ask simple questions. You may answer simply. The only rule is honesty." Kor folded his hands on the table. "And if we are not honest?" Mira's eyes met his. "Then you will remain here until you are ready to be." The man began with questions about their cargo and travel route, details Kor had already given during inspection. Then the questions shifted. "Why did you choose to keep course toward our border instead of taking the detour?" Kor hesitated. "We were low on fuel for a longer route. The detour would have cost us our trade window." The man nodded. "So it was about profit?" "Yes," Kor said. "Would you have risked entering the Reach if you knew the stories were true?" Kor's mouth tightened. "I did not believe them. I thought they were exaggerated." The man glanced at Mira, then back at Kor. "And what do you think now?" Kor did not answer right away. "I think the Reach is more watchful than most places. You pay attention to details others ignore." Sarah's turn came next. The questions she received were different. "When your captain chose to keep course, what was your first thought?" "That it was risky," Sarah said. Did you say so? Yes, but I follow my captain's orders. Would you follow them even if you thought they might lead to danger? Sarah's eyes flickered toward Kor. I would follow them until the danger was certain. Finally, Larn was questioned. You have served on many ships. How does this captain compare? Larn gave a half smile. Kor listens more than most. That is rare. But he also pushes through when others would turn back. That is why we are here. The man listened without comment. After a pause, he asked one final question. Do you believe humans are dangerous? Larn thought for a moment. Not in the way the stories say, but yes, dangerous in a way I cannot name yet. The man stood. Thank you. That is all. Mira led them back into the waiting room. The insect-like traders were next to be called. Kor and his crew sat down again, silent. Sarah leaned closer and whispered, They were not testing facts. They were testing us, Kor agreed. They want to see how we think, not just what we have. An hour passed, as other crews went in and came out, their faces unreadable. Finally, all visitors were called into the review chamber again. Mira stood in the center, her voice carrying clearly. You have now met the Reach as it is, she said. Some of you came by invitation, some by mistake, and some by choice. You may leave if you wish, but before you do, understand this. Our borders are open to those who come with respect and honesty. They close to those who come with harm or deceit. Her gaze swept the room. Many regions protect themselves with weapons. We protect ourselves with truth. If you carry it, you may pass freely. If you hide it, you will not cross far. The words hung in the air. No one spoke. Mira turned toward Kor briefly. Your ship will be prepared for departure. You will be escorted back to neutral space once the station logs are complete. Kor felt relief, but also a pull of curiosity. The Reach was unlike any place he had seen. No shouting guards, no chaotic bureaucracy, just quiet control. Yet it seemed more secure than the most heavily armed stations he had visited. As they waited for clearance, Kor walked to one of the large viewing panels along the chamber wall. Through it, he could see the great ring of the station, the patrol craft moving like small fish around a steady current. Beyond that, the stars shone sharp and clear. Sarah joined him. I do not think the stories tell the real truth, she said. What do you mean? Kor asked. They make it sound like humans do something strange to people here, but I think it is simpler. They just see you, all of you. And once that happens, you cannot pretend to be who you were before. Kor considered that. Maybe that is the danger. Their escort arrived soon after, guiding them back through the docking tunnel to the Silver Wing. The ship's systems were untouched, the cargo sealed with a new human lock. Mira herself stood at the airlock, giving them a final nod. Safe travels, Captain, she said. Remember, truth travels faster than any ship. The airlock closed and the clamps released. As the Silver Wing drifted away from Station Harrow, Kor felt the weight of her words. The trial of truth, as he thought of it, was not about passing or failing. It was about being seen and deciding what to do once you had been. The patrol craft fell into position ahead of them, leading the way, back to the edge of the Reach. The journey out had begun, but Kor knew the real journey, the one inside his thoughts, was only starting. The Silver Wing followed the human patrol craft through the calm lanes of the Meridian Reach. No other ships crossed their path. It felt as if the space around them had been cleared for their journey, though Kor had not seen a single traffic control order given. The patrol ship simply moved ahead, and the space remained open as if the Reach itself made way for it. Inside the bridge, Sarah kept her eyes on the navigation display. "Their routes are exact," she said. "Every turn, every drift is planned. They do not waste a single movement." Larn leaned against the console, arms folded. "Or they know something about this region that we do not." Kor stayed silent. He had been turning over the events of the review chamber in his mind. The humans' calm manner had not faded. Even now, leading them toward the border, they showed no sign of distrust or haste. Yet there was a sense that every step of this escort was part of a larger purpose. 2 hours into their journey, Mira's voice came over the comm. "Captain Kor, please adjust course to heading 327. We will stop at Relay Point Eris for refuel and record exchange." Kor confirmed, then glanced at Sarah. "Relay Point Eris. Have you heard of it?" She shook her head. "Not in any chart I have studied." The patrol craft slowed as a small structure appeared ahead. It was no larger than a freighter, shaped like a broad disk with antennae reaching out like the arms of a starfish. They docked easily, and once again Mira came aboard, this time alone. She stepped onto the bridge without hurry. "Refuel will take less than an hour. While we wait, the Reach has instructed me to answer any questions you may have about our territory." Kor studied her for a moment. "The stories about the Reach have been told for years. They say ships vanish, crews change, but no one explains why. I would like to hear the truth." Mira nodded. "Then I will tell you the truth. We do not hide it. We simply do not force it on those who are not ready to listen." She took a seat near the navigation console, her posture relaxed but steady. Many cycles ago, humans were not considered important in the galaxy. We had small fleets, a few colonies, and no major voice in the council. Larger powers saw us as a convenient partner or a minor obstacle. But then came the Alliance War. Sarah leaned forward. "The Alliance War? That was the conflict between the rim sectors and the core systems." "Yes," Mira said. "The war started over trade rights and control of jump lanes. At first, humans were not involved. We were asked to provide supplies, nothing more. But the war came closer to our worlds, and we could not remain outside it. The larger factions expected us to choose a side. We chose neither. Instead, we invited both sides to meet on neutral ground inside our territory." Larn frowned. "That must have been risky." "It was," Mira agreed. "But our leaders believed something simple. If you let others fight on your ground, you lose your home. If you make them speak on your ground, you gain their respect." She paused, as if weighing how much to reveal. "We did not try to defeat either side. We learned their needs, their fears, and their limits. We showed them the cost of continuing the war, not with threats, but with proof. We found ways to make each commander see that their enemy was not as simple as they thought. When the peace was signed, many from both sides chose to stay in human space. Some joined our fleets, some settled among our colonies." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "So the Reach's strength is not just ships or weapons, it is understanding." "Yes," Mira said. "We defend ourselves with knowledge, and knowledge, Captain Kor, is sharper than any blade." Kor leaned back. But how does that lead to the stories? The ones about people changing after they enter your space? Mira looked directly at him. Because the Reach sees people as they are, not as they pretend to be. We train our patrols to read more than words or actions. We look for the reason behind them. Once someone has been seen in that way, they cannot hide from themselves. Some choose to change. Some cannot accept what they have learned about themselves, so they leave and never return. Her voice remained calm, without pride or judgment. It was simply a statement of fact. Larn rubbed his chin. So when ships vanish, they do not vanish, Mira said. Some choose to remain. Others are held until they are ready to travel with honesty. A few decide they cannot live under those terms and ask to be sent somewhere far away from our influence. Silence filled the bridge for a moment. Sarah finally spoke. And the minerals in our hold? Is that part of it? Mira inclined her head. Yes. Certain materials can affect how people think or feel. We monitor them closely because they can be used to twist truth. That is something we do not allow here. The refueling signal chimed softly, breaking the quiet. Mira stood. Relay point Eris is complete. We will resume the escort. Captain, I share this history so you understand. When we guard our borders, we are guarding more than land and stars. We are guarding the way we choose to live. Kor nodded, slowly. I understand more than I did before. Mira's expression did not change, but there was a faint sense that she approved. She returned to her patrol craft, and the journey toward the border continued. As the Silver Wing followed, Kor could not help but think about her words. If the Reach truly measured every person by the truth they carried, then every crew member who passed through would be weighed, whether they knew it or not. The stories were not warnings about danger in the usual sense. They were warnings about being seen. Sarah broke the silence. Do you think they judged us already? Kor glanced at her. I think they judged us the moment they found us. The rest was to see if we would judge ourselves the same way. Larn gave a low whistle. That is a kind of danger no shield can block. Ahead, the patrol craft adjusted course slightly, guiding them toward the faint line of the border. The stars beyond seemed different, as if crossing them would take the Silver Wing back into a less certain, less measured galaxy. And yet, Kor felt that part of him would remain here, in the Reach, where truth was the strongest defense of all. The border of the Reach stretched ahead, a faint shimmer against the endless black of space. The Silver Wing followed the human patrol craft in silence. Inside the bridge, Kor studied the controls, but his mind was elsewhere. Every lesson from Station Harrow and Relay Point Eris replayed in his thoughts. Sarah broke the quiet. We are almost at the edge. After this, we are back in neutral space. Kor nodded, but did not reply immediately. Do you think we will ever see them again? I do not know, she said. They are not like any other crew we have met, and we are not the same as when we entered. Larn leaned back in his chair. They said some choose to stay, some choose to leave, and some never return the same. I wonder which category we fall into. Kor closed his eyes briefly. That is the question, and I think the answer is ours to make. The patrol craft slowed. Its navigation lights pulsed gently. Ahead, the faint shimmer of the border grew stronger, like a translucent curtain across the void. Mira's voice came over the comm. "Captain Kor, you are approaching the limit of the Reach. At this point, your crew must make a choice. You may leave and continue your journey, or you may remain within the Reach and become part of what we protect." The words carried a weight Kor had not expected. To remain within the Reach was more than a decision about territory. It was a decision about their lives, their principles, and the truths they carried. Sarah's hand rested on the console. "What does it mean to remain?" she asked. Mira's voice was steady. "It means to serve not with force, but with understanding. You would learn from us, work with us, and help guard the principles that allow this region to exist peacefully. You would be accepted, but your choices would always be measured against the truth you carry." Larn's brow furrowed. "And to leave?" "To leave," Mira said, "is to return to the wider galaxy. You may continue as you did before. You may keep what you have learned, but the Reach will not follow you. You will not be the same as when you entered." Kor looked at his crew. He could see the thought in Sarah's eyes. She was weighing the weight of staying, knowing it would change her life entirely. Larn's expression was more cautious, almost defensive, as if he were measuring the risks of the unknown. Finally, Kor spoke. "We have crossed into human territory. We have seen the Reach as it is, and we have been seen. The choice is not just about staying or leaving. It is about how we live after being known." Sarah's voice was quiet. "I did not expect this. I thought we were here for trade, for fuel, and for safe passage. But now it feels personal." Kor nodded. "It is personal. Every one of us carries the truth about ourselves, and the Reach simply reflects it. We can ignore that truth, or we can choose to follow it." Larn shifted in his chair. "I do not know if I can follow it. I have always lived for profit, for survival. This is different." Sarah looked at him. "Perhaps we do not need to follow it yet. Perhaps it is enough to understand it, to leave and still carry the lesson." Mira's voice came again, calm but firm. "Your time to decide is now, Captain Kor. Speak with your crew, then give me your answer." Kor turned to them. "Sarah, Larn, what do you think?" Sarah took a deep breath. "I want to stay. Not because I fear the galaxy, but because I want to see if I can be better, if I can be honest with myself and with others." Larn shook his head slowly. I cannot. I am not ready for that kind of life. I will leave, but I will carry what I have learned. That is enough for me." Kor nodded, understanding both choices. "Then the choice is settled. Sarah, if you remain, you will be safe and respected. Larn and I will return to neutral space. We will carry the Reach with us, even if we are far away." The patrol craft adjusted its position. The shimmer of the border grew brighter, almost tangible. Kor guided the Silver Wing closer to the boundary, feeling the subtle pull of the Reach's influence. It was like stepping through water, the sensation of being weighed by something unseen but powerful. Mira spoke again. "Remember, Captain, the Reach does not bind you. It reflects who you are. Your choice does not change that. The decision made, Kor gave the order to continue toward neutral space. The patrol craft escorted them part way, then slowly veered away, leaving the Silver Wing to drift beyond the shimmer. As they crossed the boundary, The strange weight lifted slightly, replaced by a feeling of clarity and determination. Larn exhaled, relief visible on his face. It is over. Kor shook his head. No, it is only beginning. We carry what we have learned. That will guide us from here on. Sarah, still aboard the patrol craft, gave a small wave. Kor returned it. In that moment, he understood her choice. She was not leaving. They would meet again, but she had chosen a path that demanded courage and honesty every day. The stars outside seemed sharper now, each point of light clearer than before. The galaxy stretched endlessly, full of unknown dangers and possibilities. And yet, Kor felt different. He had been tested, seen, and allowed to leave. He had survived the Reach not through force, but through understanding and truth. Larn leaned on the console. Do you think we will ever forget this? No, Kor said. Not entirely. The Reach changes everyone who enters. Even those who leave carry it in their hearts. That is its power. The journey back to neutral space was quiet, but it was not empty. Each crew member felt the weight of their choices, the lessons learned, and the possibilities ahead. Kor knew that when they returned to the wider galaxy, nothing would be as it had been. The Reach had shown them what it meant to live in a space where honesty was the strongest defense and understanding the greatest strength. By the time the Silver Wing reached a familiar trade route, Kor felt the full measure of their experience. The galaxy beyond was vast, filled with uncertainty, and yet for the first time, he felt ready to face it with clarity, courage, and the truth they had all discovered. As they prepared to resume their trade journey, Kor looked toward the stars once more. The Reach had tested them, seen them, and changed them. Now the galaxy would see them in a new light, and they would never be the same. The Silver Wing cut through the dark expanse of space, its engines humming steadily as it returned to the familiar lanes of the galaxy. Kor sat in the captain's chair, hands resting lightly on the console. The memory of the Reach lingered, like a faint glow, a reminder that their journey had changed them all. Larn leaned against the side of the bridge, arms crossed. It feels strange to be back, he said. Neutral space looks the same, but I know it is not. We are not the same, Kor nodded. The Reach does that. It shows you who you are, what you carry, and what you might become. Even leaving, we carry that lesson. Sarah had returned to the Silver Wing after choosing to remain in the Reach. She was not aboard physically, but her words, her presence, and the choices she had made remained with them. Kor could feel her influence, subtle but strong, guiding the crew's thoughts and decisions. Do you think she will be all right? Larn asked quietly. Kor smiled faintly. She will be better than all right. She made her choice. The Reach supports those who choose to live honestly. She will learn, grow, and thrive. The days of travel were quiet, giving the crew time to reflect. Kor moved through the ship, checking each system, speaking with the crew, and observing how their perspectives had shifted. Conversations were deeper, more thoughtful, and less distracted by petty concerns. It was as if the Reach had instilled a new awareness in them, a sense of responsibility beyond their own survival. In the mess hall, Larn prepared a meal while speaking to the navigator, Jalen. I never thought a territory could be so powerful, without weapons. No ships, no guns, just the way they see people. Jalen nodded. It is not strength like we know it. It is a kind of wisdom. and wisdom lasts longer than any weapon. Kor joined them, carrying a cup of water. That is the lesson of the Reach. True power comes from understanding, from knowing yourself, and from respecting the truth in others. Larn glanced at him. It is strange to think we were afraid at first. The stories made it seem like danger was everywhere. But the real test was inside us. Exactly, Kor said. The Reach never forced anything. It simply reflected what we carried. And that reflection changed us. As the Silver Wing continued its journey, reports came in from nearby sectors. Some mentioned human patrols escorting merchant convoys. Others spoke of disputes settled with surprising efficiency. The galaxy had noticed the Reach, but it did not fear them. It respected them. And Kor realized that their return would carry a similar effect. The ship approached the edge of a busy trade route, and Kor called the crew to the bridge. We are entering populated lanes again. Be alert, but do not be afraid. We are different. Now. We have been tested, and we have survived with more than skill. We have survived with truth. The crew exchanged glances, a mixture of determination and quiet pride in their expressions. They knew their actions would be watched, and they carried the knowledge that the Reach had given them. Trade stations greeted the Silver Wing with routine checks, yet Kor noticed a subtle change. Officers, merchants, and navigators treated them with a new respect. It was not fear nor favoritism, but a recognition that these travelers had faced something extraordinary and returned changed. Larn adjusted the communications array. I see it too. People notice the difference in us, even if they do not know why. Kor nodded. That difference is the lesson we carry. It is silent, but powerful. It will influence every decision we make from now on. Weeks passed as they resumed trade routes, delivering supplies and exchanging goods. Yet every routine task held a deeper meaning. Kor observed the crew making choices not just for profit or efficiency, but with a sense of responsibility, fairness, and foresight. The Reach had left its mark, not only on them individually, but on the way they worked together. One evening, as the ship drifted near a cluster of small colonies, Kor stood at the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before him, but his mind was fixed on the lessons of the past journey. He remembered Mira's calm voice, the shimmer of the border, and the truth reflected back at each of them. Sarah's words echoed in his mind. She had said that choosing to stay was not a decision of fear or comfort, but of courage and honesty. Kor realized that every choice, whether to leave or remain, carried weight. The Reach did not judge the decision itself, but the honesty behind. And a message arrived from Sarah through secure comm. She wrote briefly, I am learning every day. The Reach is challenging, but I feel stronger. I carry your friendship with me always. Kor smiled. She is right. We all carry it, whether near or far. Larn glanced at him. Do you think we will ever cross the Reach again? Perhaps, Kor said. Or perhaps we will never need to. The lesson is not in returning, but in applying what we learned. The Reach is not a place. It is a reflection. We carry it wherever we go. The weeks turned into months, and the crew settled into their routines. Yet the memory of the Reach remained vivid. Decisions were no longer taken lightly. Conversations were honest. Leadership was balanced by understanding, and every action was measured by its truth and consequence. One day, as the Silverwing approached, a distant colony under threat from a rogue faction, Kor observed the situation calmly. He could sense fear and confusion, but also potential. He made decisions with clarity, guiding the crew to resolve the conflict without violence whenever possible. The result was surprising to the colony's leaders. They had expected struggle, yet they found resolution and safety. Larn shook his head. "We handled that well. Better than we could have before the Reach." Kor nodded. "Because we see more clearly. Understanding, honesty, and courage guide us now. That is the power of what we experienced." As they left the colony behind, Kor reflected on the journey. The Reach had tested them, shown them themselves, and allowed them to choose. Sarah had stayed. Larn had returned, and he himself had learned the balance between courage and truth. Stars stretched ahead, endless and full of possibility. Kor knew that the galaxy would continue to challenge them, but he also knew they had grown stronger, not through weapons or speed, but through the strength of character, the clarity of mind, and the honesty of heart. In the quiet of the bridge, with the hum of the engines beneath him, Kor made a promise. He would carry the Reach with him, wherever he went. He would act with the wisdom it had taught him, and he would ensure that every crew member, every ally, and every traveler they met would feel the presence of that lesson, a silent testament to the power of humanity's courage and understanding. As the Silverwing disappeared into the stars, Kor understood the truth Mira had spoken at the border. The Reach does not bind. It reflects. And those who carry it, whether they remain or leave, are never the same. And that is how humanity becomes extraordinary. The galaxy stretched before them, vast and full of unknowns. Yet Kor felt a quiet certainty. Humanity, in all its determination and honesty, was ready to meet whatever came next. And with that, the Silverwing sailed on, a testament to the strength and courage of those who had crossed into the Reach and returned, forever changed.